Welcome back to another episode of Cutting Stems, the after show. Week 4 and week 5, double whammy. The whole crew is here.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Rhea, Trent, Kelly, to discuss all 4 hours of Bachelor content that we got this week.
Do we know why they did this? Is there a reason?
Clue. No clue.
Yeah, are we like missing an episode next week or something?
I don't
or
know.
in the
There must be
coming
something
weeks?
we don't know
There
about.
must be
Something
like
shady.
something happening in
March Madness starts soon, doesn't it?
Or like something where like there's a Monday. Maybe there's a
next week's President's Day. Will
Yeah,
it be? Will
I
it be
don't know.
showing?
maybe.
We have off apparently.
They
What do you think about
normally-
that? Are we taking off?
There's
This office
no
has
way
off?
that we have off on President's
we
Day.
got it. We got an
do,
email
we
or
actually do.
in the Slack
That's
this morning.
fake.
I was thinking maybe some sort of presidential like debate or something. Maybe there's one down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would interfere.
They don't
Yeah.
tell. They never tell us anything.
You know,
Yeah.
Just
They're
like
really sly about
scheduling
it.
wise, it's just like, by the way, there's 2 this week. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
all right.
It was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, we have 2. So
Yeah.
there was Monday night, there was Tuesday. They were in Malta, they were in Spain.
Great trips, by the way.
Beautiful trips.
So
Really
nice.
nice.
Malta
totally
looks
on my
stunning.
radar now. I knew nothing about it, and then
Yeah.
you did that that Degrassi connect the
I was
dots.
right.
Were you able to? Yeah, you were right.
Yes,
were you able
it
to follow
was,
up on
that?
Jimmy's family?
Jay's family.
No, Jay. Sorry.
And
what's her face? Manny.
Manny.
And was
Manny
gonna go
like buys
Yeah.
tickets for Jay to like they go to visit his family in
to
Malta.
surprise
Yeah,
them
yeah,
or
yeah,
something. So
yeah.
some Manny bought the tickets. Made
Yeah.
no sense. Anyway.
I had no
Yes.
idea where it was when they said Malta. They all got excited, and I didn't know where it was.
We all took a guess and I was kind of off. It's like off the coast
I didn't
of
say
Italy.
my guess, but I did guess in my head that it was near Italy, but I regret not saying that out loud.
Yeah.
The show starts off with them being in Malta, and we know that we're waiting. Basically, the whole episode revolved around the 2-on-1.
Yeah.
Sydney and Maria were all waiting for that, but they did have a one-on-one date with Lexi. The one-on-one dates when they're just like in a beautiful European city, delightful.
Delightful.
So agree.
Like there's nothing cheesy. They're not set up. The group dates, different story. But like
Group
the
dates
one-on-one
are
dates,
always
they get
cheese.
to like do real stuff, like real like touristy stuff.
They
which
just
is nice.
frolic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
They
I
just-
think
yeah.
that you want your one-on-one date to happen when you're traveling. Like in the beginning, like the first 2 episodes, like the girls who get upset that they don't have their one-on-one dates, I'm like, well, just wait
Right.
Yeah,
because
if
you
you're
don't
in
know
California,
where you're going.
you're just going to take a helicopter to San Diego.
Right,
Yeah.
you're going to
That's it.
You're going to Barcelona.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, a Malta one-on-one is superior to the rest because they just walk around the city.
I think
Exactly.
too, it adds a level of excitement. It's like probably they haven't been there before, or they haven't done this exactly before. Like who in that group has been to Malta before? Like that's exciting. So there's already that layer of like I'm gonna have a good time because I'm in a new place and I want to explore.
Yeah, and the jealousy is definitely setting in for the squad. But Lexi had a great one-on-one. I don't really think there's anything too much to discuss about it. She did say she had something to share with Joey, and she talked about her endometriosis
Yes,
and her fertility, which is very
strong.
important.
Yes, is that the official? What's the hashtag for real? Like what's like the endometriosis?
Endo
hashtag?
warriors, they
Endo
call them.
warriors.
Endometriosis.
Yeah,
We have
that's
we have
what-
one in our midst.
Yeah, because my sister Lexi,
Yes.
Yeah, I
Right.
say your
endo
sister. You don't.
and
You
then,
never talk
and
about
then
it.
Trent wrote endometriosis.
Endo.
It's everyone's together.
Yeah,
That was
which made me
hilarious.
laugh
Standing together.
really hard.
That was a good one.
But yeah, it is something that doesn't get talked about a lot. And also, unless you're a doctor that like specializes in it, you also don't have a ton of idea about it. So I'm glad that you talked about it on TV because it is something that people kind of like brush under the rug,
Yeah.
and a lot of women deal with it. A lot.
Yeah.
So and I think Lexi's fantastic too. I like her
I
a
like
lot.
Lexi.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So she, great date, gets a rose, all around good date. The group date was like they dressed as knights.
Mm-hmm.
They were sword fighting, and then they just had a carousel of sausage.
It was a sausage fest.
You know I fucking hated that
A
shit.
carousel of
You
sausage.
know I hated that shit.
That was like when you go to like the carnival and you sit on the swings ride. Like that was it. But it was just sausages attached to a
and
string.
cheese.
And the ladies
Disgusting.
had to try and catch the sausage in their mouth.
Right.
Couldn't believe they were
Classic
doing that.
Bachelor.
Unbelievable. Classic I was
Bachelor.
so pissed off. Again, here we go. Mixing food and
Yeah,
sex.
yeah,
What
yeah.
is the problem over at Bachelor? I need to know
Yeah.
who's got the fetish at ABC.
It's one
And
By the
producer
way,
for sure.
this looked
Get
like
out.
impossible.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Possible.
And also just the classic gif of like the girl with the sausages.
Yeah, of
being
course.
thrown at
yeah.
us.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I
But
mean,
wait,
you got sausage flying at your face.
huge shout out to Joey for doing it too.
Yeah.
When they said, Joey, stand over here, and he said, no, I'm not letting them do this by themselves. Like, thank you, Joey.
That's a real
for
man. Not afraid to take some
also
sausages
doing
to
it
the
and
face.
embarrass yourself like everybody
Yeah.
else, and not just let all the girls sit there and get hit in the face with sausages. So
I mean,
yes.
Joey just gets more and more adorable. He really
just the
does.
best.
It's impressive. You kind of think that it's hard to be the Bachelor.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes like people sign up to be the Bachelor and it just like it hurts their image instead of
Yeah.
makes them look better.
Mm-hmm.
But things have been going pretty well for
Yeah.
like I feel like he's got like but cheesy but cute jokes.
The pun. He said, if we're going to the Alta, we have to fall in love in Malta.
Yeah.
That's
Cute.
right.
And he was like, it's punny. And you know what?
Yep.
I wasn't even mad at that.
Dude, you know what they do? They do him a favor. I don't know if they keep in the part where he's like, that was punny and weird. And, like if you were just to say that, people would be like, that was fucking weird.
Yes.
But when
Yeah.
they're like, he's
Right.
like, that was
More
so
back and
lame.
forth. with producers.
Or when
Yes.
yeah, and then he talked about Game of Thrones. And
Yes.
then like I thought that was like, oh, I'm shocked they're leaving this in right now. But like as we're getting on, like the first two episodes, I was like, all right, they're not showing his personality that much. But the third episode, or is this the fourth episode we're on?
Four.
I was like, oh, they're showing his personality. He loves Game of Thrones. He's talking about, he's making a joke about a spoiler. Like usually they don't leave that kind of stuff in.
I agree. I really like him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
do
too.
too. I mean, this is the tape where he was shirtless in like a half night costume and was just like a fun size Bachelor. Like,
Yes.
he was having fun with it, which I appreciate. So, the girls were catching sausages in their mouths. Nobody,
Ridiculous.
I don't really think anybody did it.
No, one girl got one
Autumn-
and bit it.
Yeah, but
Was
like
that Autumn?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like there was nobody was. It seemed actually impossible to bite the sausage off the
Yeah, of course.
string.
Yeah.
like it was like really you're just eating sausage, and it didn't look appetizing.
Everything like no, for real though. What the fuck was the point of that entire
Yeah,
thing? Like
no, I
I
don't
get
know.
that the nights where they always try to work in some sort of like medieval something when they're in Europe.
But like
you know
the
what I
sword
mean? Like
fighting made sense,
right,
like,
and
the-
that made
the-
sense. But like,
The
what is
flying
this
sausage
about?
made no sense.
If it had
What is this
stopped
about?
after the sword fighting, people would have been like, all right, that
Right.
was a
Cool.
date.
Yeah, yeah.
But then they're like,
And
all right,
it
here
was
comes the
cute.
sausage
All right,
wheel.
ladies, let's see those skills.
Yeah.
They were doing the move.
How
like,
many
the
sausages
moves.
can you catch?
It's crazy, man. Couldn't believe they were doing that.
It was just another one. Like Joey kept saying, he was like, "This was such a great day, such a great day." All the ladies were so great. They didn't have any issues with anybody. Kelsey T got the group date rose. He is like infatuated by Kelsey T. I feel like.
100%.
Yeah.
In a way that
Kelsey
he
T-
definitely likes a lot of the other girls, but like Kelsey T, for some reason, he just like, I don't know. They have a chemistry where when they just see each other, because we haven't even really seen them talk that
They
much.
make out a lot.
But they make out a
Yeah,
lot,
yeah,
which
they do.
says a lot.
Kelsey T is not pretty eyes, big hair. Talks
That's
about
Kelsey A.
Kelsey A.
Kelsey A.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
He also
yep.
likes her, but yeah,
He does
yeah,
also
yeah.
like
Loves
Kelsey A,
her.
yes. But Kelsey A got a one-on-one on Tuesday.
That's what I was
on-
going to
on
say. Yeah,
tonight's
yeah,
episode.
yeah. Okay.
So, all right. So then we go into the 2-on-1 drama.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney.
I don't know how. I'm amazed still. It's 2024 that they find people like this.
Yeah.
Like guys and girls, Bachelor, Bachelorette. There's always one person where it's like, what's happening?
Right.
Like everyone was on Maria's side. Everybody. And
Everyone.
Sydney's just like making things up, talking shit about Maria for reasons that we don't know.
Right.
I'm always stunned that Sydney's people aren't just like, Sydney,
But
what are
it
you
does
talking
seem
about?
like some of the girls do have issues with Maria too. Like
I think
now,
the
Fair.
only
but it's like
issue that
not
anyone
to the
has.
extent that Sydney does. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really think there's something we're missing here. Like, I think there's something we
I think
didn't
it's
see.
I think it's
They
jealousy.
cut something out.
I think that they don't like that she calls them out on their bullshit and they're afraid of it. Like that's exactly what Sydney's problem is. Like she wants to paint Maria in this light of like she's a monster. She doesn't care about our feelings because she is quote unquote dismissive of their feelings. Basically, she's a little bit older than these 23-year-olds who are crying about not having time with Joe. Like that's it. This is the name of the game, and she's not like crying about it, but these girls are, and she's kind of like, well, I'm not crying about it, and they all think she's a bitch for that.
Yeah,
and that's the only reason.
I also think that she would never have mentioned, like, we're on camera, right? If she did something
Never.
because then it would just come back to bite her. Like, she looked at Sydney and was like, this is all filmed. But so like I also think, I don't know, when they got back to the house after the whole thing. I know we're skipping ahead here because Sydney was just absurd that entire time. Like, she couldn't even. I kind of appreciated the fact that Maria was like, all right, I'm just gonna flirt on this boat.
Right.
Like, what else am I supposed to do? Just like be sad the whole time. Like, we're on a date, might as well flirt with him. Sydney is like, I wrote this on Instagram that she just has like buzzwords written on the back of her hand, and she's just like checking them off as she talks, which is infuriating to listen to. But when they got back and Sydney was gone, Medina had no issue with Maria anymore. And that's where all of this started.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just confused where the continuation is coming from.
Right. And I do think Medina tried to like take the mature route of like, well, now like, let's just all move on from this.
For sure.
And the younger girls like are the ones that held on to it, which we are skipping ahead. That's kind of like what was going on tonight's episode. But there was also like Sydney really just everything she said like spliced together also just sounded bad, right?
Big
She's
time.
like, I have a game plan, I know what I'm gonna say, like blah blah. So she goes in, she like tells Joey that Maria told Leah to shut the fuck up, like just really trying to,
which was a lie, right?
I don't know, like
Maria pressed her on it and she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So I felt like
she was like, when did I say that? And there was no answer.
No, it was like
it's
really
probably
bizarre.
well, this is now an argument of like exaggeration and semantics. Like, I'm sure that Maria said something along the lines of like, oh please, like stop,
Right.
blah blah blah. I'm sure she did not say shut the fuck up, bitch.
We would've seen
you don't
that.
deserve it.
I
Right,
saw
we
a
would've
funny
seen
tweet
it.
where somebody said like, one of them must have said like, I don't like KFC, like the food, and Maria was like, shut the fuck up. Like,
That's what I mean.
Like, more like it was more like a joking,
playful.
playful
Yes.
tone.
Like, that's the only reason she would say that,
Yeah.
because that's the kind of like, that's her cadence, that's her vibe.
It's like her
she's
humor,
just-
like-
right.
I know, it just really feels like normally there's some like it just feels like there's no base for Sydney's feelings in this.
Agreed.
So it's just confusing, like which is why it makes me think that like there's some editing going on here, because like the extreme language that Sydney uses, unless this really is just Sydney, which
No.
I mean it could be, but like she's like, she sucks, I can't wait to get out of here, like she's like a monster, she's so bad, and Sydney said it was starting to, this is where anybody loses me, when they're like in drama and they're like starting to affect my health.
Oh,
like,
stop.
my stomach
Stop it.
hurts. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, shut the fuck
physically-
up.
Like,
I'll
I'm
literally tell
physically
you.
ill
Yeah.
from this. I'm like, all right,
Get the
like
fuck out.
you started it.
She acted like Maria
Wait, no,
pushed
no.
her down the stairs and then stomped on her and then got
I
a
know.
bus
Yeah.
of kids to jump out and run over her as well. Like,
know.
there was just like a long line of things that feels like none of it happened.
Yeah.
Not only did she make this worse and start the drama, she was never involved in the original drama.
Right.
She had nothing
She inserted herself
to do with
into
it.
it
She
to
inserted
begin with.
herself, stirred up a narrative, and then just like doubled down and doubled down and doubled down until it was too late and you get sent home. Like, sorry.
Yeah. I will say, like, another thing, like, kudos to Joey. He went with his gut on that one, right? Because it would have been easy. I feel like it would have been easy for Joey to be like, look, I don't really know the story, but clearly the bad things are being said about Maria, so I could just get rid of her and it would be fine.
I liked
and
when
he
he
didn't.
I liked when he said, I'm done trying to find the truth here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I feel like you never hear the Bachelor Bachelorette say that. They're always like, I want to know what's going on.
Right.
He's like, the stories are so different
Yep.
that I'm done trying to find what's going on here.
Right, and I like too
Hilarious.
that when he sat down with them at dinner, was like, do you actually see us being together?
was wild.
Because
Yeah.
that's going to be my factor here. Like, I'm just going to go off of who I feel like
Yeah.
there might actually be a real
Yeah,
connection
like
with.
I don't give a shit about your girl drama. Like
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of bachelors should take note on that. I
Yeah.
feel like that's an important thing. Like, at the end of the day, this drama is literally nothing. It's manufactured for TV, and are one of these girls who does he like more and who likes him more? And
He
that's all
also-
that should matter.
Sorry,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
No, please.
He also said, I don't expect all you guys to be friends.
Yeah.
Which I think was like mature as well. Because I think there are some people who take that role and are like, I want the house to be happy. When he's kind of saying what you're saying, where it's like, whatever you guys do, I honestly don't care. I just want to find out someone I like.
Yeah.
I feel like they should give the Bachelor or Bachelorette one time to watch the tape. Like they bring them into the room and they're like, all right, do you want to see?
That's a good
Do
idea.
you want to see? Watch this back. And
It's
maybe,
movie night?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they
get-
do
they
movie
get
night.
one
Love
oppor-
Island movie
right,
night for
one
Bachelor.
opportunity to
They're
watch, like,
you
one
get
scene.
You get one pass.
Yeah.
What scene do you want to
Right.
watch? What
I
night
like
do you
that.
want to watch?
I like that too.
And just to like maybe that'll clear it up for them because they literally don't know. But I do think Trent, what you said is right, where he's kind of just like, listen, like some people aren't going to get along. That doesn't mean that they're not right for me. I'm going to like whoever I like.
Right.
It's just at this point, what they're saying Maria's doing, they're actually doing to Maria.
Right.
Completely.
Like they are being mean girls to her.
It's
Yes.
nuts. It's actually crazy to watch. And I was thinking, like, how could Joey, he doesn't care about getting to the truth. We know that. But I think that if he were to try to find it, he almost needs a person in the house that's in the middle. Kind of like how, remember, I think it was Matt James and Katie Thurston,
Yeah. It
right?
was.
When he was like, listen, I got to know what the fuck is going on. In here.
Right.
I need
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
on
Get a
the
mole.
inside.
Yeah.
A mole. He needs a mole in the house.
Yeah.
He needs like
and she stood no chance actually dating him, but that was
right.
like,
Which, like, I think that there are a few girls like that in the house right now that he could kind of be like, hey, listen, tell me what the fuck is going on, because I think this is crazy. Like, if this continues, which it keeps continuing.
Yeah.
So I think, like, after, some time has gone by, he might have to call in a third party.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. No, that's true. So Sydney gets sent home. Maria stays. A beautiful woman sings Ave Maria. Very fitting.
Very
So
fitting.
good.
And and then
In Italy too, like all of it is
lovely.
good. Yeah.
And then we're watching the girls in the room, the
Yeah.
luggage, and a man walks through the door.
It's this.
Trent, who was that?
I don't.
Because he was just he was just wannabe Trent. Everything about him.
It's one of the most disrespectful things that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
When I saw that happen, when he pulled up the luggage, like I don't know what you
He
call
did
that
your
thing.
complete actions.
he studied your tape.
He studied
He
the tape.
100%
He
did.
copied it. And what I would say is, I'm a phone call away. All right.
Yeah.
The producers have my number.
yeah.
Call me. I'll go to Malta.
Yeah.
I think I've probably said in the past that like I'm done doing the Europe trips and going across the pond. But if they're just gonna do a fill-in scrub,
Yep.
Right.
call me.
Also, depending on where they are, like you'll fly 8-9 hours to Malta, I assume.
I would. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The one you went to was like 20 out, right? It was like way.
I mean, Vienna was it was probably like 7.
Oh, okay.
So I will travel. I was saying, like, I don't want to travel if it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if I got to travel, if I don't travel and they're going to use somebody in my place who does the exact same thing, like all he was missing was the khakis.
Yeah, it was
Completely.
yes.
He had
Yep.
the crew neck. It was like a black sweatshirt of sorts.
It was despicable.
I
And
bet he would have put the khakis on if
Same
it
accent.
wasn't like
he just did exactly
such
like,
a ripoff.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. If he had been wearing the khakis, I think I would have done something that I would regret.
Yeah.
Just I don't know what that is, but I
We
would
would
have
have
gone crazy.
Well,
supported
we
you in
want
that.
some
We
answers
would have supported you
on
in that.
who that man was.
Yeah, I want answers.
And we were writing in the chat, and Fran was like, "You guys have to stay tuned for whatever, like this unreal moment at the end of the 2-on-1." And then I was like, "Trent, are you about to be the luggage guy?" And you were like, "No, some scrub." And then I thought you were making a joke about yourself, so I taped.
I could see
I
that.
taped myself watching because I was like, "Oh my god, like this is about to be Trent." And then I was like, "Oh, this fucking imposter."
You guys
Straight
aren't-
up imposter.
You guys aren't going to like this, but I think the next time if I get to do it, I'm not telling you.
Please,
Fair.
I think that's
keep
fine.
it that
think-
way.
I think that's fine.
I can't contain the excitement
First
if you
time I
let
did
down.
it, I was so excited.
Fair because there's always
Yeah.
something in me now when we don't know that I'm like, did he go?
Is it? Yeah, I like the mystery.
I
All right.
fully convinced myself last night when you said no, some scrub, and then you wrote, and he took my whole form too. I was like,
Yep.
oh, this is him.
True.
Yeah, I got the camera ready, and I was like,
I could
oh,
see
that's
that.
not him.
We are shocked and appalled.
Yeah.
by this man.
Robert Mills, just reach out, man. That's it. That's all it
Just
takes.
reach out. One text.
Wow.
Disgusting.
And
It
it's
was-
just like, if it was a guy, if it was a totally different looking guy, or like this guy just looked just like
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Is
I
the
was,
thing,
I was,
you know?
yeah, it kept me up last night.
Maybe if they sent a woman in, you'd be like, oh, all right, no worries.
Right,
It's,
luggage- luggage
It
He
was-
didn't look just like you.
It was.
It was. They have the same.
It's the
builds.
essence. It's the essence.
Yes.
When I watched it, I was like, he did that because of me.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to be like, oh,
No.
No.
100%.
I could feel it.
You
could
made
never be
the
you.
luggage guy the luggage guy. The luggage guy before you was just some random guy, and it wasn't even that dramatic of a moment. Like you turned
Well,
it
they're
into a
going to
moment.
go back to the security guy who did it.
Yeah.
Well, and
What was
and
his name?
there's been a bunch of luggage pulls since I've done it that I haven't done. It just didn't feel that way when they have done
Right.
it. But this one, I was
That
like,
fun.
It felt like
This
they
one
gave
did.
him
Yep.
camera time.
Yes.
Like they left his face on there for
Yeah.
an extra few seconds. And I saw no buzz about him on the internet. So who is he?
only buzz I saw was people being like,
Who the fuck is that
Who the
guy?
fuck
Who
is
the fuck
this?
is that guy?
Exactly.
And where's Trent?
again, I'll do it.
He's probably feeling like a piece of shit today.
You know, he probably doesn't even know he's getting involved, or maybe he does because
No,
probably
he definitely does. He definitely studied your luggage pulls. There's no way. I mean,
He literally wants to
the
be
way
you.
he walked in, the
He's
way he
starting a golf
turned, the way he
podcast
did it,
today.
like
Is this guy trying to
Yeah.
break 90? What's he doing? What's he doing? Is he stealing my life?
He's gonna show
Identity
up at
theft
Pebble
is not a
Beach in a couple
joke.
weeks.
Yeah.
Imagine it was Kyle. Like
Oh,
imagine
our producer?
Yeah.
Oh,
Imagine
yeah, that'd
he
be so-
popped up and did the luggage pull. That would be
be
unbelievable.
hilarious.
Now that's something I would get on board with if he did that.
I would fire him, I think.
That would be
That would be
so
incredible, though.
Speaking
That's
of our
making me laugh
producers, and
thinking
this,
about
no
it.
one else is going to get this except you guys and the people who work here. This guy, Joey G, and Brendan Jones, who I work
yeah.
with,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are, not only do they look exactly alike, but they act exactly
We
the same.
talked about it with Joey that day that he came in
Yeah.
because remember I thought you were talking to Brendan Jones
Yes.
and I was just like, oh, whatever. And then I realized it was Joey.
They have the same mannerisms. Like, it'd be one thing if their personalities were completely different, but they're very similar.
Yeah, yeah.
They're kind of goofy. Brendan loves puns. Like,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah,
way
yeah,
too
yeah.
close.
That's so
Way
funny.
too close.
You guys
but,
are going to have to go golfing
Damn.
together.
I think we're gonna
Seriously.
have to.
Yeah.
But,
Everybody is going to have to.
I want to be the luggage guy again. Stop getting these scrubs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Sydney leaves, but Leah decides she wants to take up the good fight against Maria for some reason. Talk about a 180 for Leah. I thought like Leah seemed cute, and you know she threw away the card at the beginning of the season, and she
Yeah.
wasn't going to steal someone's date. And then she just like decided to be really annoying.
What a fucking
And I literally
switch up.
that's all I wrote
Really
down.
annoying.
Leah, really annoying.
So-
And like nasty. And when Maria started crying, she's laughing and she's like, Maria walked away crying, and that's exactly what I wanted to happen. I was
Oh.
like, this is
No, it's
awful.
kinda
None
nuts.
of your
Yeah.
business. Like pulling Medina to the side at the end of Monday Night's
Psychotic.
episode
Insane.
was so bizarre too, because she's like, I just like really, and you know what she does? She does the whisper talk when she talks to Joey.
Yeah, she does.
And oh,
Well, right. We all thought she was this meek little lamb, and now all of a
and-
sudden
no.
she's pulling
She
Medina
pulls
aside to
Medina-
be like, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Her being like, you just kind of switched it up. Like before you were saying XYZ when Sydney was here, and now you're buddy buddy with Maria, and it's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, the same can be said about you, Leah. Like you were Miss Noble crying, whatever, and then now all of a sudden, whatever. Who?
but isn't it
called
like
her?
it's also like Medina is actually doing the mature, normal thing. Sydney is gone, so now they just want to move on and like be normal. And I don't really think Medina had much of a problem with Maria to begin with.
No.
And Leia's weird, like, well, you're like best friends with Sydney. Anytime anyone on this show use the term best friends, it actually infuriates me because you're not best friends.
No.
You've
You're
known each
just
other for
not.
5 days.
You've known each other for 10 days. I know it's like whatever, we're on week 4.
You're in the house.
Maybe 20, maybe 3 weeks you've been together. Like you're not best friends. Maybe you bonded a little, but now she's gone, and like Medina has every right to move on and like try and focus on Joey and not be stuck in the drama.
What
And
were you gonna
Leia's
ask?
keeping her
I want
stuck.
to ask. I want to ask. Remember when Leah did that big theatrical crying before she revealed like what the card said that
Yeah.
she had been holding, and it was like really a little long.
Yeah.
And mostly everyone was like, "Oh, so sweet," and then somebody was like, "I don't know." I felt like it was a little dramatic. Who said that? Was it Maria?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
She was blonde, and
No, I
she
think that was
and
maybe Taylor.
Yeah, and I think she went home, but she said something like, "I would have kept it." Like
Yeah.
it was like that.
No,
I think.
no.
Or maybe
it was a different girl who was like, "Yeah, she
maybe-
went up there," and it was like a little dramatic, honestly.
Oh,
and
I
then
don't
the other girl
remember.
was like, "I would have taken it." No, the girl
Yeah.
who said it was dramatic. I might have to go look because
Yeah.
it might have been Maria.
If the
Maybe.
conversations you're having with the other women in the house are, wow, you really switched up when this other girl went home, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
like,
What are you
yeah,
talking
no, she's
about?
You're
not
not
here
focused
anymore.
on-
She is
right.
long gone. She's out of the question.
You're-
Keep
I
your
also think
eyes on the prize.
Leia was saying like, I hold my friendships to a high value and high standards and high morals. And basically what she was saying was, if you're friends with her, you're not allowed to speak to people that she's not friends with.
Yeah, it's
which is
stupid.
actually the immature thing
Yeah.
to do.
Big
time.
That's
How
not
old is she?
mature
20?
at all.
She's 23?
She's 23.
Yeah.
The curling iron comment comment was also just like, that's when you know you're just petty and young.
Girl.
Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, get your own fucking curling iron.
Oh,
like,
really,
give me a-
bitch?
Oh, I
Okay,
hate
bitch.
people like
Yeah.
that.
Really,
Call us in 10 years. See how
I
you
know.
feel.
It
And she
doesn't-
does
yeah.
that, and she says, and it some certain mannerisms like that drive me nuts. Where like cute little girls like that say something nasty, but they say it with a smile, so they're like, and I'm like, ugh.
Right?
No, I wanna punch
you're
those
all
bitches in the
girls. Like
face,
you
like-
can't all share curling irons. Like what
Yeah.
are we doing here?
So I
Who
felt
gatekeeps their
I know.
curling on?
What's the-
Nobody.
That's insane.
I would give somebody my curling iron and say keep it.
Always.
That's what I was
I
gonna
gave
ask.
my
New one.
brother my straightener the other day.
I don't
said,
care
just
at all.
take it. He
I will
wants it.
give somebody
What's
the
it?
shirt
What's
off my
curling
back.
iron?
I'll get
Share.
another one. You need
Share.
it.
Share.
Share.
Hair tools are a big
Some
share.
people are also
Hair
very
tools, yeah.
particular about their stuff, and some people are not. I will give somebody something that I'm wearing right now and just be like, "Here, take it," and
Yeah.
I will go get a new one.
Okay.
Other people are really particular about their things.
But I would go like
specifically if
what
you
it
have an
is.
older
I would go
sister
like,
sometimes.
Yeah.
most shared to least shared with like people you don't really know or you're getting to know. I would go hair tools, makeup, clothes.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Like a curling iron or like
I feel
what, like
the
a
same.
straightener. Like if I'm on a bachelorette party and there's girls that I like don't even really know, they're like, the high school friends of my college friends.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, hey, sorry, anyone have a straightener? Absolutely.
First one.
of
My friends and I
course.
will like coordinate on trips like that. I'll be like, oh, I'm
Right.
bringing a curling iron. Are you going to bring a
Exactly.
straightener?
Yeah, don't worry,
I'll
I got
bring
the
a-
blow
Yeah.
dryer.
It's a,
Like that
it's a
kind of
big thing
shit.
to pack.
Clothes-
So sometimes
Yeah.
someone
It's
is the
sometimes hard for
designated
me.
person.
Makeup I'll always share. It's sometimes hard for me to share clothes just because I like it depends on things I like. Like sometimes I really like
100%.
something.
Yeah,
and I'm
totally.
like,
That's
if-
what I'm saying. That's
if
the
something
least
happens
one.
to it, I will be
Yes.
very sad and maybe I
Exactly.
can't replace it. But apart, like if it's just a random ass, like I don't give a
Exactly.
fuck.
Yeah.
Hair
I
tools
just
always.
learned a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
We're here to educate.
That graph of most shared to least
Yeah.
shared, I really enjoyed.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
it's true.
The Maria's very sad because basically Medina was like, the girls are mad that I'm even talking to you, and that's a very isolating feeling to be like, oh my, I thought like maybe we'd be getting over the drama, and now the girls are mad that like people are even just being nice to me. Like that's crazy.
I
It's
don't
crazy.
know what Maria has done wrong.
I know.
Don't know what the basis of any of this is.
I think I think she just rubs them the wrong way. Like
I
that's,
I
agree
also
completely.
think that maybe they
I think
didn't.
she's confident.
Yeah, and like she clearly has a connection with Joey.
Big time.
And these girls clearly don't. And they for some reason did they not watch past seasons where like going and telling the Bachelor that you're having a problem with is never going to be the way that you end up with him. It's
Yeah.
never going to work out that way.
I'm
Never.
getting Courtney, Ben Flagnick,
Huge.
major vibes.
So much.
Where
Beyond.
like
Where
Courtney
she doesn't actually do anything, but
Right.
everybody just fucking hates her because she's
Exactly.
pretty and she has his
pretty,
attention.
has his attention,
Yep.
confident, doesn't really give a shit about the other girls.
Yep.
And
Girls are intimidated by that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I feel like it's crazy the difference. And she is how did we figure out how old
She's
Maria
29.
is? 29.
Yeah.
And so she is confident. She's over like the
Yeah.
petty bullshit.
because
She
it's like
just
there's
wants
also
to,
the girls
you
that
know.
are just not, and it's so fair. You cannot fault them for like not wanting to be in like the rah sorority girl. We all have each other's back. Like one, like I get it. That is nice, and it's nice when all the girls get along. Like
Yeah.
when that happens, that's nice. But you can't be sacrificing your time with Joey to make everybody else feel better.
Right,
Like
to
that's
be
you
friends.
know,
It's true.
and they kind of are dealing with that in tonight's episode with Jess.
Claire Crawley
Yeah.
said, "Are you guys here to make friends with each other? Or are you here for me?"
Yeah, so
So,
that happened too.
you know,
I
it's
also
like-
feel
Yep,
like with
yep.
Maria, like she's not a robot. She very clearly has her own personality,
Totally.
very
Big time.
distinct personality.
Yep.
And sometimes when you watch the show, a lot of the girls they're nice and they're going through the motions, but you don't have somebody who has like such a like
Yeah.
strong personality
And-
like she does.
And Maria opening up about her like relationship with her mom and like her it's totally checks out. Like
Yeah.
she's like, hey, I honestly am surrounded by men a lot more in my life, and like not that like you can tell. Like that's not like
You
you know
100%
you can tell.
Well, she's very blunt.
Yeah, she's
she's
blunt.
very
Yeah,
blunt.
totally.
She's upfront about things.
Yeah.
She kind of lets everything roll off her shoulders. Like she's not
Yep,
bothered
yep,
by
yep,
this
yep.
petty bullshit. Like,
Exactly. So they cut us off on a cliffhanger going into tonight's episode. We started off with the rose ceremony right away. Edwina and Allison went home. So that's the end of that for them. And then they went to Spain. Very exciting. Kelsey
So
A
cute.
got the one-on-one date. Honestly, this is tough. This is where like I understand where Jesse Palmer was saying that like this is the most romantic season because it's the girls all really fucking like him already.
Yeah,
For sure.
And the jealousy is flying big time more than I feel like past
ever.
seasons.
Yeah.
Kelsey A jumping on that Vespa and riding off in
Tough.
front of all the other girls.
Unbelievable.
Like that's like Kelsey T like almost started hyperventilating.
I think
like,
Jess said it where because they clearly don't tell them like what the day is going to be.
Yeah.
And they all assume they're going on a group date, so they get ready. They're in Spain. It's beautiful. Here comes Joey on the Vespa, and he takes one of them, and it's gone.
It's
Brutal.
and he looked good.
It's incredible.
He
looked so
He looked
hot.
so
Like,
hot. He looked
beyond.
really good.
It was the stuff of dreams. Like
Yeah.
he shows up and he's like, "Hey, baby, hop on."
like, it
And
was
she's-
literally
and Kelsey's so
hopping on the
beautiful.
back of Paolo's.
Big, beautiful
This
hair.
is also like it's best case scenario, but also worst case scenario because they're gonna be heartbroken by this guy. They're gonna be like, "Fuck." Where if like you end up with you end up on a season, you find out who the Bachelor is, and you don't really like you're not
like,
like
whatever.
fawning over him. That's kind of great because you're like, if I get kicked off, whatever. You got your little TV time. They are going to be heartbroken by this
Heartbroken.
guy.
Totally.
He somehow gets
Devastated.
tanner and cooler every time they show
He
him.
does.
Every day.
His
he gets
eyes,
tanner and cooler.
his eyes start to pop a little bit
I-
more.
No,
his
eyes
hair
get
is like a
greener
little
every
more
time.
It's
like-
almost no disrespect to my guy Brandon Jones. It's now getting to the point where he looks so much better than he did at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, they don't look anything alike anymore.
Yeah,
I am
no.
now so charmed by him that he's a different guy.
Yeah, no, it's
And he's like,
extremely
funny
charming.
and he's like
Yeah.
goofy.
and he's just
I think
like
I'm in
really.
love with this
I
guy.
love him.
Holy
Yes,
shit.
I love him. Bring it back.
I was
What
supposed
are we
to-
doing here?
the moment
He's
you
just, like,
realize
really nice too. Like
He's right. He's really
nice.
nice. Seems super
in the
genuine.
group settings, he handles himself really well.
I don't think I've liked a Bachelor like this in a
Him
long
and-
time.
Yeah, I think
Not-
he's gonna be like an A+ season
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Not to brag, but him and I were DMing when I was in Phoenix.
He really wants to
Yeah.
hang out
We were
with you,
supposed to
Trent.
meet up,
Wow.
and we just missed each other. And
Yeah.
weren't there on the same
Oh.
day. That's
Two ships
That's one of the
passing in the
biggest
night.
regrets of my
Yeah.
life.
I
I
know.
think not meeting
Damn.
up with
I
him.
also think we all love him too because we know he like all like has a soft spot for all of us. I mean, he
That's-
loves
oh,
he
sure,
loves Trent.
yeah.
I don't know if we can put ourselves on the
We
same
saw him.
level as
We
Trent,
saw him wearing a sweatshirt.
but
like
he
2
did
weekends
wear
ago.
like our sweatshirt out
At a bar.
to like a bar. To
He did.
have
He
a
did give me a
sweatshirt.
big hug when he came here.
No,
I didn't even know if he knew who I was.
What a doll.
Yeah.
No, I mean it is true. So obviously the girls are all devastated because he's a dream man riding off on the Vespa. He's got a great date with Kelsey A. She's a sweetheart. I
love her.
her.
I love her so
I think
much.
she's my favorite.
I think she might
Oh
win.
my
This date, no,
God.
really, like this date for I didn't think much of her before that. I always thought she was
Yeah.
like gorgeous because she's got that
I
hair.
don't know
That hair
if
is out of control.
She and Joey are necessarily
Meant
the
for each
most
other.
like chemistry wise. I feel like maybe there's some other girls I would put above Kelsey A, but just as a person,
Yeah.
Kelsey A is like number one.
Same.
I also think that they obviously they had the very intimate conversation about her mother and how she struggled with cancer and unfortunately passed away. And I think that her opening up in that
I
way
cried.
I cried.
That was one where
No,
it was
I, like,
like,
being
literally
so
wow.
cried.
vulnerable
Yeah, yeah.
and the way Joey like received it and was sympathetic and understanding and whatever, it just seemed like such an adult conversation and a serious conversation that kind of now opens the door for like trust. And so I think moving forward when we see them together, it's going to be a lot more like it'll be like a weight lifted because I'm sure
Definitely.
Kelsey this whole time is like, God, at some point I'm going to have to tell this guy the shit
Right.
that I've been through and that's
Yeah.
going to suck and I don't know how he's going to take it or how I'm going to feel and whatever. And I think now that that's kind of like off her chest, it's, the sky's the limit.
Now, I don't know why this is the first time I'm thinking of this because it kind of happens every season and it might be because of how much we like Joey. But you just you got to give him props for like having these conversations with all the women where like one after one after one you're hearing their stories because, most people have been through something and they need to talk about it and he has to receive all that information and show that he cares and is listening and
does.
that's
He
not
does.
often that you have to do that.
Yeah.
You start dating one person, you learn about that one person, you guys share things together, but he has to learn from many
There's-
people.
And
There's
he,
all-
and he remembers it all too.
Yeah.
Like he'll bring it up.
people's traumas, people's past,
Right, like
people's
I think
health,
because there's
people-
some
like it's a lot.
bachelors who weren't great at it. Like I remember, I could be wrong, but I feel like Zach, they would happen. They would tell him something, and he would just sit there.
No,
the
Zach
COVID
is bad.
thing. Remember when the girl
Yeah.
was like, and he was like, well, that's not the same.
She
as
was worried
like,
about quarter 4. Or
yeah,
something.
and he was
Oh
like,
yeah, Q4. Yeah,
and he
she's like
basically
talking about
responded
Q4.
with being like, my COVID was harder.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
but Joey is very receptive and
He was like,
empathetic.
people died, and it was like, chill.
Yeah, he's very
Right.
good.
I mean, you could go all the way back to the end of the spectrum with Juan Pablo. That was as
Yeah.
bad
Oh
as it
well,
got.
fuck.
You
I
know,
mean,
you
Juan
know,
Pablo
he
was.
yeah.
Juan Pablo hated all the women that
Yes.
wanted him. Like he just was like, how long can I keep
know.
these bitches around?
I think every girl
does do a great
who has gone on a one-on-one with at one point has said, it just feels like I'm on a date with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Which is like a testament to Joey. He's just very
and
good
that's
at
how
this.
they're going to get the heartbroken.
I know.
Feeling
No,
like
well, exactly.
he is their
That's
boyfriend.
why they are
Yeah.
all going to be absolutely devastated because it's true. And when Joey said to Kelsey, like, I see that connection, like the way you're describing your mom, like I see those qualities in you. I was like,
No, it was full sobs.
Beautiful.
No, I was
the
like,
story about
oh,
her dad,
oh.
about the conversation in the car
I
on the way
know.
to the airport.
Yes,
oh my God,
no,
I
truly
this
killed me. I
waterworks.
could tear up right
Yeah,
now
no,
thinking
same.
about
I
it.
have
Oh,
to change the
and
subject.
like the way that she was, I mean,
So
obviously
sweet.
devastating, but obviously she said it was like 10-ish years ago, so she was probably in high school.
Yeah.
And like her mom got a
Ugh.
cancer diagnosis and died like in 2 months. Like it wasn't like she
No.
had no time.
No,
So it was just like
it's
so
awful.
so sad. But Joey and Kelsey, I thought they had a really nice date, and I do think Joey does like her a lot as well. They had a big art group date where they had to like think of a quote and then draw it. Cheesy, fine, whatever.
It was cute,
It was cute. I don't know, like if we're looking if I'm now seeking things from Leah to like pick at, but there was a soundbite that honestly could have been a Frankenbite. You didn't hear her say it. It could have been spliced together because it felt harsh.
Yeah.
Where she was talking about Maria, and she said, Leah said she will never end up with him, but one can be delusional. Like that. And and it was like,
I
it was
didn't
just like a
notice that.
soundbite. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
She's not doing herself any favors, even if it
No.
was like a Frankenbite.
Yeah.
I think she's saying these things at some point.
Yeah.
Totally.
And
She is not doing herself any
Maybe they're
favors.
asking her I'm sure they are. They're like, what do you think about Maria on this day? What do you think about Maria?
Definitely.
But she still says the things that are like, she can't stop thinking about Maria, and it's annoying.
No,
She's
100%.
obsessed. I want to point out too, Leah. So they did this whole this art situation. Leah so smug
Leah.
about her. Leah, sorry,
You were stuck on
I'm stuck on Leah. I know too many Leahs.
I got confused. I didn't know which one it was.
Is
Yeah.
it, it's
I've
Leah.
been guessing with
Her
Leia.
name is
Okay.
Leia.
Princess Leia. Got
Yeah,
it.
that's how I
Princess
think of it
Leia.
too. Princess
yeah,
Leia.
Princess Leia. I have a friend Leah who spells it the exact same
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
It is
Leia.
confusing.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
Lea could go
Yeah,
in
yeah.
many directions.
Leia, so smug about
Yeah.
her little painting, and you
Right,
know
she
it
was
was
like,
good.
"I love
it was
art."
good. It was good. She's like, I love art. I did what I could with the tools I was given,
Yeah.
and then has this whole thing, puts a hibiscus on there, tries to be like Hawaii, whatever, and all for them to give it to Jess,
Yeah.
who had arguably the worst painting.
Right, who just drew a giant engagement
Just a big
ring.
engagement ring. That came up, and I was like, "This bitch, I was like, this is terrible." The fact that
know.
she won, Joey said
She's
that
like, I'm manifesting a giant diamond.
yeah, right. The reason she won, Joey said, is because she was the only one that showed like what she wanted out of this. Everybody else just kind of posted vaguely like what I want in life, and she was like, "No, I want a ring. I want to get married."
Which
That's
is
why
fair
she
because
won.
Joey did also paint him with a ring.
Yeah,
So it was like,
yeah.
he had a
true.
ring, Jess
Yeah.
painted a ring.
Yep.
So there was the connection
So
there.
Leia got to sit there with a stank face as she
Yeah.
lost after she went up there like, "Oh, I've got this in the bag."
Yeah.
Like, I loved that. I loved watching her.
Jess is heading to a breaking point for sure because she's like clearly very invested in maybe not getting the feedback that she wants right now.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on Maria opening up about her mom. She got the group day rose, which of course sends everyone into a tizzy that
best.
Maria's she's getting a group date rose.
So good.
And that was, the drama there. Second one-on-one date was with Rachel. He and Rachel, I do think, have really good chemistry.
For sure.
I think
Definitely.
they have a great
Wait,
connection.
also too, Jess, because she won that art thing, she got extra time with Joey, and they rolled around in the paint.
Yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
did roll around
Yeah,
the paint.
yeah,
But
yeah.
At the end, which is really what I'm saying, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. Because,
Yeah,
you
didn't
know,
matter.
Yeah, it didn't.
she didn't get the rose.
She
Yeah.
did not.
Maria got the rose. So
Devastating.
But,
they
but
did
that's an important thing, though, is that she had all that time with
yeah.
him because it's
Yeah.
important later. I
Yeah.
have a big bone to pick.
yeah. So Rachel gets a flamenco date where
Cute.
they learn to dance. Joey, honestly, and also Joey, just team player. I don't know if we could gush about him anymore on this episode.
I'll do it. Let's do
but
it.
he's in shorts and he puts on these like dance booties with a heel.
Yeah.
And he's like, I look ridiculous.
He's playing the part.
But,
so cute,
just-
though.
and it was cute about it. Like, even when they went to dinner, he was like, Rachel, erase that vision from your mind. Forget about me in those boots. So they were
never.
laughing about it, and they had a great date. I think, there's really not much else to say about
Yep.
Rachel. Rachel
Yeah.
gets a rose, of course. It's like a whole...
They do have a lot of chemistry.
I think they do have a lot of chemistry. And like from the bat, they've had a lot of chemistry. So that just keeps growing. Cocktail party. Maria she goes up and interrupts Caitlin Caitlin's like, well, she did it and she was really nice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jess is like freaking out because she's like, I haven't gotten any time with him yet tonight. And when Maria comes back, Jess has a sassy comment. They bicker back and forth. And like, I could tell also
she
that
didn't
Maria
take him for very long.
No, I also can tell that Maria is like fed up.
Definitely.
Because
she almost left.
Maria was a little snappy back to Jess.
Well, of course,
which is fair because I think she's just like been beaten down.
She
a little
came
bit.
over
At some
and
point, you need to
sat
stick up
down.
for yourself. Like
Completely.
you can let it roll off your back so much until it gets to the point where it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can even see her taking that time to get a reaction out of Jess. Like,
Yeah,
let's
honestly.
do it. Let's just do it.
Right, like I
and
might as well
Maria-
become the person you guys think I am.
That's right.
Maria
Yeah,
hitting
yeah.
her with the grow up, like nothing
Grow
hurts
up.
harder than a grow up.
No,
like,
it's hilarious.
Like, and that
You
set
grow
Jess
up.
off.
Perfect.
Like, well, then she was,
Yeah.
you grow up, bitch.
Yeah. And then she's like,
not
and
a
here we
great
go.
comeback.
And here we
No.
go.
But you
No.
can't prepare yourself for somebody to tell you to grow up.
No, but it's,
no,
and
no.
it's
Oh,
like
everything after
honestly,
that is rage.
Maria
Yeah.
knew
Yeah.
exactly what she was doing too. I think because she was like grow up, and then Jess hits her with grow up, bitch, and then Maria's
Yeah.
like, oh, there it
And
is,
now I'm the
there's the
bitch.
bitch. Now you're calling me a bitch. It goes like,
Right.
just
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
too, right. Well, she came into that. She like was talking with Joey. Maria was talking with Joey. Came into the thing. Jess is sitting there again with like a fucking puss on her face, looking around, talking shit
Yeah.
about Maria. So Maria walks in to a silent room where everyone was just talking shit, knows exactly what's going on, and Jess is like, took some time with him, and she's like, "What's your fucking problem with me?" Like
Yeah.
it was just like she knew that was coming.
Yep.
And
Totally.
Jess, and this is why I wanted to bring up her having time with him, rolling around in the paint. Because Jess was acting like she never got to talk to Joey, speak to Joey, nothing.
Yeah.
She had the best painting. She got to roll around in the paint with him, have a very intimate, like hour, whatever, with him, more than any of the other girls. Maria went up to him for 2 minutes to be like, hey, what's up? Like, thanks again for the rose. And then bounces. And then Jess is freaking the fuck
Jealousy,
out. Like,
man.
she's taking, it's crazy.
That's
Like,
a
you had
really
more
strong
time.
point.
I
Really
You had
strong.
more time
Yeah.
than Maria. So it's on you that you don't have a fucking rose. Sorry, girl.
Yeah.
Like, stop. She drives me. Ooh, I can't wait for her to leave.
I think they
She's
really
gonna be
are
Jess.
all also
I hate
extremely
Jess.
jealous of Maria too.
Yes.
And I'm sure like Jess deep down is like pissed off that she did get that extra time with the group date and then
Oh, yeah.
didn't get the rose.
Of course.
Maria did.
Of
So
course.
you're,
I think it's
that's
the
all.
common theme
Yeah.
is they're clearly very jealous. of
Totally.
her.
They're all starting to get really jealous of each other. You can tell.
I think
because
Maria's
they
going to
just
take
really
all
like
these girls
Joey.
out.
I think so, too.
Leia's going home. I
Yeah.
think Jess is going
Oh,
home.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sydney's gone. She's just notching
I think
them.
Maria's
Yeah.
going to make it far.
I think-
I mean,
I
she's
think
beautiful
Maria could
and,
go to
and has
hometowns.
a
They have a
fun
great
personality.
connection, and she's real. She's a real
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, I
she
could see them-
gives her real thoughts, and I appreciate that. I
could see them
appreciate
going to hometowns.
authenticity.
Okay, so rose ceremony. We are going to Montreal next. We're going head to Canada.
That's fun.
So Maria's excited. She's like Canadian girl. But Medina.
Oh, they're going to hate that.
Yeah, they're all gonna hate that
Oh,
shit.
she's going to wear like
gonna
a
hate that.
whole
Oh,
Canadian
they're gonna
flag
hate
outfit.
it.
I hope she
They're
starts
gonna
speaking.
hate
You think
it.
she's gonna start speaking French?
Yeah.
I hope she does.
Medina
Rub it
and
in.
Autumn.
And I speak French.
Yeah.
Rub it in.
Medina and Autumn got sent home.
So.
We're definitely still in that phase where like, they're cute girls, but you're like, okay,
All right, bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have Jen, Kelsey T, Daisy, Leah, Lexi, Caitlin, Jess, Maria, and Rachel had her 101 and Kelsey A had the 101. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 girls are left.
Okay.
Cool.
And
That's
we're headed to
kind of
Canada.
a little amount.
I kind of
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, that's a
like,
low number.
that's not
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, I mean, we really like 2 episodes. That we
Yeah,
just,
that's true.
Got rid,
Yeah,
got
I
rid of a
guess.
bunch of
Yeah.
girls there. So
I
Yeah.
guess that's why I feel shorter.
yeah. Okay, let's crack open
Ooh, yeah.
our Coors Light. Let's cut some stems. Let's give out some roses.
Finally. My favorite time.
Okay.
Being really polite about it.
That was
No,
nice.
that was nice. I
nice.
just got my
Cheers.
nails done yesterday. I
Some
didn't fuck
ASMR.
up.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, ladies. Cheers.
I think there's 3 like favorites to me right now. I think it's like Kelsey A, Maria. Who else?
I think Daisy.
Daisy and probably
Daisy's
Rachel.
laying real
Rachel.
low right now.
Daisy for sure.
Not involved in the drama
Yeah.
at
Daisy is
all.
laying
Yeah.
low. I love Daisy.
I
think
love
she's
Daisy,
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So-
they are like when they're together. There's a preview of them hanging out
Yeah.
again, right?
Yeah.
They are like they just fit.
I
really
mean,
well.
the coming attractions. Like
Yeah.
we're in deep.
We're in
like,
deep.
It seems like Joey very early might be telling a girl he's falling
Yeah.
in love with her.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing it's just the one soundbite we're getting of like the finale and Joey going, I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yep.
So obviously we are all extremely locked in, and you could tell that the girls are starting to like really get caught. It's what's going to be tough is we're going to get to the point where there's like, I think there's going to be 5, 6, 7 girls left. And some of the girls might start sending themselves home because of how jealous they are about what's going on.
100%. Yeah.
Like, because they
I
all
need
like
to just
Joey.
remove myself from the situation.
No, literally, I think
Yeah.
they're all like Joey so much that they're going to be like, this is too hard. I can't like see this anymore. I
Totally.
need to go.
I think that's right.
Definitely that. And also, too, people are going to start recognizing his favorites. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah,
start
yeah,
being
yeah.
like, oh, I don't have a fucking chance. Like, I don't have the kind of relationship that he has with Daisy or
Yep.
with Maria or with Rachel. Like, he, I think, really is like going out of his way to spend time with the people that he really feels like he is going to end up with.
I
you know?
agree. Okay, so we're going to cut stems, give out some roses. I'm going to go first.
Ooh,
Do
go
it.
first.
You know, I never let myself
Why
go
not?
first.
Go
Why not?
first.
And I have it's not really groundbreaking, but there was one moment of Joey's. He's getting my rose.
Of course.
There's one moment
He's
of
getting mine
Joey's.
too, but it's more specific.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
moment of
yeah.
Joey's that he pulled during this cocktail party
Yeah.
that just Jen and him were having a conversation, and Jen pulled out a stethoscope.
I love Jen, by the way.
And yes, she is also
Yeah, I love her.
adorable.
I
So
still love
Jen
her.
pulls out the stethoscope and she goes to like feel his heartbeat. And when she does it, and then he leans in and he goes, well, what happens if I do this? And then goes in to kiss her because she's listening to his heartbeat. And I was like, oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, that's
Like,
good
you are
stuff.
so
This
damn
man,
cute.
ladies,
It's good stuff.
incredible.
Oh man,
I was
just-
like, oh my God, what a cute, like cheesy but cute line. Like, he was like,
I'm
what
hook,
about
line,
my-
and sinker. Like,
what
he's
about
got
my-
me. I'm not
what
even on the
about-
show.
what's the pitter patter when I lean in for the kiss?
That's
you know?
good stuff. That is good
So
stuff.
Joey's crushing it. He
That's
gets my
suave.
rose.
Oh,
really
man.
suave. He's been handling all the he handled the 2-on-1 so well. I thought
so well.
because that was a tough one to deal with. And I'm gonna cut the stem of I'm gonna just go with Leah. I feel like this took a weird turn for her that she did not like need to take. I don't know why she decided to like be the drama now and start to like get way sassier than it seemed like she was.
Yeah.
So
It's such
I don't know.
stark
I don't-
difference
yeah.
from her putting that thing in the fire. Like
Right.
it's just so like if you wanted all this fucking drama, why didn't you keep that card?
Yeah.
Right. I
that's
need
true.
to know like if I need to know if she was like a club leader or like sorority president or something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because she started off the whole show being like, I'm not gonna steal a one-on-one, like ladies, and then now it's just like she's still pulling that, but it's like that's not the point.
Yeah,
You
no.
can't like be the leader
Maybe
of the
that
women.
wasn't a great move in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, now that
Yeah.
we think about it, maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't so great.
Right.
Yeah.
I had so much praise for her in the
I know,
beginning, and
I know.
I'm disappointed
Right.
now.
I am too. Okay. Rhea, you want to go next?
Yes.
We'll just go around if
go
that's
around.
all right with you people.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I will give my rose to the locations that they're traveling
Yeah.
to this season.
So great.
Because
Good one.
sometimes when they travel, I'm like, I don't really care about going there. This time
Yeah.
around, Malta and Spain, sign me up.
Gorgeous.
I'd like to go to those places back to back. So
Agreed.
my
Me
rose.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll say the location, and I feel like there's like an applause sign in
Yeah.
the back. Come on, ladies.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where we're
yeah.
going.
Get really
Yeah.
excited.
One
and
time
it's
they
like,
did Cleveland.
oh yeah.
Oh God, Cleveland was
And
so
like-
bad. I would have
Right.
quit. I would have been like,
I think
oh,
that
I'm
was
good.
that was during like maybe a COVID season, right? Where they
Might have been
couldn't
like
travel.
right coming off of
yeah,
it. Yeah.
for sure.
So the
Still.
locations are they're just absolutely stunning, and it is really romantic. All those places.
It is.
And
Definitely.
you know, maybe one day I'll get to travel to one of those places.
great.
And I am going to cut the stem of Sydney. You know, she got sent home, and I'd like to just
Yep.
double send her home
Yep.
because
There you go.
I was infuriated watching her. Like seriously, my face. I was getting the imprint.
furrowed brow.
In
Your
my-
11s?
in
Your
my- yeah, my
11s are popping
11s,
off?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
Botox.
Right, I don't
It's
have
verbiage.
Botox, so
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it got even worse last night because I was like
I'd say
this
if
the
you
whole
did,
time.
they wouldn't have.
It's
Yeah,
so
no.
much more frustrating when
I
it's
need a-
illogical. That's what it felt like with Sydney, where it was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you? why are
Right,
you
that's
doing
why, and I kind of was just like, what a weirdo. Like that's like,
Yeah.
like that's kind of the
What a
vibe I got. I was
strange
like,
person.
wow,
Yeah.
this is like weirdo vibes right now. That's how I felt.
All right. I'm gonna give my rose to Joey as well, but his suits. I think
Yeah,
he
he's
is looking
looked really
incredible.
nice. Yeah.
He looks so fly.
Really,
Yeah.
every suit he
Yeah,
puts
so
on.
fly.
Cracking me up.
I mean, come on now.
Maroon that maroon one he was wearing
That
tonight
the
was
one.
spectacular.
I mean, with his
Spectacular.
eyes, it's like,
Yep.
stop it.
I
I'm so
know.
in love with Joey.
Yeah,
Like, I'm about
same.
to, I'm like, fuck these girls. Like, what's it?
I hope he ends up with
I'm
nobody.
about to screw this shit up. I don't know. I'll
Kelly
be like,
really is
listen.
rooting for everybody
Yeah.
to live.
Yeah.
The ending that has been teased that like everybody
She's
just like
like,
says
"Come
no.
on."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, perfect.
So yeah, that's been great so far. And then I'm gonna cut the stem of Jess.
Yeah.
So easy.
I was gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, I
and
know, I
by the way,
stole
I'm
from
gonna
you.
double cut it because
That's
she
totally
deserves to.
fine.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I feel like even from the first episode, she was bound to get in some sort of drama just because she is very like in your face. And it just came to a head, and she called Maria a bitch. So you're out of here.
Can we just be honest and say that there's no way like people are all turning down his proposal? Like I know like everyone's like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the most
I know.
It's so
shocking
weird. I
end
know.
No, it
of
would make
the
no sense.
season.
No
like
sense.
True.
I
would
can't
make
see
no
that
sense.
lining up.
I
at
think
this
the
point.
only way that could be is maybe if he's still a little like unsure, and then the girls start turning on him, being like because they're so jealous
Then
that
they
they're
band
like,
together.
well, do you even like me?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
turn into that, which I feel
Right,
like is
but I'm
always-
like I don't know the way this is going.
Right. It
Yeah.
almost feels like it's impossible. All these girls are going to be so in love with him, but maybe that's where the problem lies. They're all going to be like too in love.
too
Right.
in love, right? And they like there might be too many ultimatums.
Yeah.
You know what I
Maybe
mean?
that's the thing that's never happened before.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
all
too in love here.
They're all
love.
too in love.
I'm too in love here.
Yep.
I'm out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Yep.
Maybe one, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing if like one of the girls crashes the proposal or something and is like, it should be me. Like I want some crazy
Girls
shit.
are climbing over the
Yeah,
fence.
yeah.
Like, he's mine.
Reverse Colton. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like that. Okay, let's think. My rose.
You can pick an aspect of Joey if you want.
I was thinking, all I can see in my
His
head right now
eyes,
is Joey's
maybe?
eyes. Yeah. I'm going to give my rose to Joey's eyes because they were really popping off these past two
They were.
episodes.
No, the European sun was really doing something special.
It was
to them.
really, yeah, it really was. It really was. Like, all I was thinking is like, we should just take a little trip from Malta to Tuscany. We can just sip on some more wine. Like,
Man.
I was
Yeah.
Kelsey in that moment. I was like, this is great.
Yep.
So, yes, Joey's eyes get my rose. The stem cut will go to Jess. Not only a stem cut, but I would like to individually rip off each of the petals of the rose that she's attached to
Yep.
and rip them in half as
Like it's a
well.
voodoo doll.
Because because I've hated her since day one. I've always thought that something like this was going to happen. She's turning shit into something that has to do with her when it has nothing to fucking do with her.
Yeah.
I can't stand how she's acting like she had no time with Joey. That's my one of my biggest pet peeves about when the girls do this, being like, I had no time. Episodes back, she stole him multiple times. Other girls were mad at her for doing that. And then she had extra time with him today. For her to complain and start shit with Maria and then call her a bitch and storm off and be like, I'm just having a hard time. I'm really going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Well, then lose it. Get the fuck out of here, Jess. I'm sick of your bullshit. I'm done with her. Cut off her
honestly-
rose. Put it in like a wood chipper.
No,
Like, that's how much
it's
I hate
fair.
Jess.
The extra paint time is such a strong point.
It's crazy
Can I
that
also
she's
just
acting
say
like
that
it's crazy.
maybe we need like an inside scoop on this as well. But when the girls are all sitting around at the cocktail party and there's one girl that's like, I haven't got any time, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sad. I haven't got any time. Get up.
Yeah.
Get up and go
walk
do it.
Find
It's
him and go
completely
interrupt
right.
who's out.
Girls
No?
always do
Like,
it. They always
I think
pout
there's
instead
what
of
is
you
the
doing
like
system?
you like have to go interrupt.
Be
You
proactive,
have
right?
to.
Like that's
What
true.
is the
like what
system?
is the system? Because sometimes we just nonstop see people walking up saying, "Can I take him? Can I take him?" And it looks like it's
And-
going like that. And then sometimes there's just all the girls sitting around. I'm like, well,
And listen,
could you just get up and go find him?
Maybe
Yeah.
night one I get. There's so
Yes,
many girls.
totally.
It's like it's chaos. But now we're down to what, 12 women?
Yeah.
14 women. It's like you can find time. I think you just got to go interrupt.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Got to do
Yeah.
it. Everybody has to do it. It's not like you are going to be the only one. Well, that's where Jess loses her argument as well. Everyone is allowed to interrupt for time, but then you can't get mad when other people have time because you didn't want to interrupt when you have interrupted in the past. Like, pick your lane.
Right.
What do you want?
That's right.
Oh, can't stand her.
Agreed.
Hate her.
On that note, good night, everybody.
Cheers.
This
Good night.
was
Cheers.
it's late, man. There was
Yeah.
a lot to cover. 2 full episodes. You know,
Two
it's
episodes.
a lot.
Yeah,
So, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Coors Lights, and we will be back next week. TBD. No, we will be back next week because
They haven't said, right.
because in the trailer it said next Monday.
Okay.
Next,
That's
or it
true.
said
So
next
all
week.
right.
So it's like I think they would have said, oh, like no episode next week if they didn't have one.
Right.
So
We'll be back.
next week there will be an episode.
Perfect.
Cheers. everybody.